few $20 bills and tucked them in her left jean pocket. Said, hit the road, run and go and chase that thrill. Yeah, ride your dreams like a rocket. If you're ever standing in a city on a crowded street, feeling all alone, just remember it don't matter how far you are from home. You're somebody's baby, somebody's favorite song to sing.
No one who is severely handicapped needs to fear that they will get paid any less. In fact, they're going to see an increase. We want them to be able to earn more money before losing their benefits. And we're hearing a lot of support in the disabilities community.
This province is the only province that is actually expanding disability supports. This province is the only province that is actually expanding disability supports.
AISH Actions Revolutionary Podcast.
Chantal and Gavin.
You have now entered the no bullshit zone.
Good morning, Vietnam, or in this case, afternoon, in both Calgary and Edmonton, because they are the same mountain time zone. How's everybody doing today? Please let us know. My name is Gavin Sorochan, and I am here with my wonderful and beautiful and amazing and hardworking co-host, Chantal.
Hello.
Nice. So you've been a busy girl this weekend. I mean, not like we both haven't. But you've been, exceptionally working hard, shall we say?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Never a dull moment on my end.
Right. Right. And just for the sake of the chat, how is the chat doing today? That's what I would like to know. Please say hello, like, share, subscribe. And the reasons for that are not monetary in our case. They are to get the word out regarding everything Chantal and I are discussing. Chantal has some somewhat, immediate news or some things that came across her desk this weekend that we want to discuss. And but the like and the share and the subscribe are simply so that we can get the word out, right? So that we have a mechanism, as banal as it is the mechanism for giving people the information they need. So if you want to say hello in the chat, like, share, subscribe to the channel, and we will forevermore be in your debt.
Yep.
So
bring you up a bit.
yeah, there you go. That looks right. Perfectly framed, by the way. So yeah, why don't you just mentioned something to me coming in here, because Chantal and I really haven't talked all weekend. I've been doing my thing, she's been doing hers. But so something came across your desk today. Do you want to?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It made me fly out of bed this morning.
Mm.
Somebody had sent me a copy of a response that they had received from AISH. And so I already posted a copy of what was sent back to the recipient and my response to it. And I'll read it for you, Gavin. So the response from AISH regarding an appeal. Okay. So good morning. And I redacted her name and her information because it really shouldn't be on there. But I left the AISH generalist information on there because I think she should be held accountable for spreading misinformation.
Yes.
So good morning. I received your request to remain on AISH letter to the educators this morning. We cannot accept this letter at this time, as there are no decisions being made until after July 2nd, 2026. What I would tell you is to go to the alberta.ca/ADAP and familiarize yourself with the site. Ensure you are getting on it every few days to see any updates. Well, you know how I feel about that kind of shit. That's not accessibility by any means. So ADAP, to continue her letter, isn't as scary as everyone thinks. People are being misinformed. You're not being forced to work. You will be assessed for your willingness to work, your employability, your skills, and you will be assessed to see if you can work. And if you meet these skills, then you will receive coaching and job placements and on-the-job supports, etc. You're not going to be told find a job on July 2nd. This is not the case. If you are not able to work, they simply put you back over to be reassessed for AISH again. If you strongly feel that there is not one job you'd be capable of doing for even 1 day a week or part of a day, then you have the option of applying for the new DIA application, which will be available only after July 2nd. Disability income assistance is the thing that she's referring to. So there is no guarantee they won't put you back into the ADAP program, and you cannot appeal it if they do. AISH will pay for one medical to be completed at any time. Just so you know the positive side of ADAP, we have many that do not work on AISH that are transferring to ADAP so that they can make more money. So it's really quite a good program. Please feel free to familiarize yourself with the website alberta.ca/ADAP and call into our center to ask questions if you're concerned. Reach out. We're here to help and to answer your question. Lynn Fisher. And she's out of Edmonton, I'm assuming.
How do you spell the last
Delivering
name?
North
Lynn,
Branch.
how do you spell the name?
Yeah, so it's Lyn, and last name is Fischer.
Fisher.
Yeah.
Okay. Fischer.
Mhm.
Okay. So, anybody out there want to call good old Lynn and have her explain
yeah.
herself to you, please reach out to Lynn. Does Lynn have a direct number?
Email address? No. Yeah, she sent it from the North Zone AISH at gov.ab.ca.
Okay.
But her phone number is there, but I think it's not a direct line to her. I think it's just to the general, call center. But I did respond to her email, Gavin. You better believe I did.
Well, I know. So this is where we're going to get to where Lynn may be either gravely mistaken or something else. So go ahead. Yep.
Yeah. So not only did I respond to her directly, but I also forwarded the same email response from myself with hers attached. I also sent it to every other AISH office in Alberta, including the Assisted Living and Social Services, Mr. Newdorf. Because the misinformation isn't happening on our end, it's happening on theirs, and I corrected in the email. So, dear Miss Fisher, I am Chantal Trepanier, founder of the Alberta Disability System Breakdown, a campaign run by and for Albertans affected by the move from AISH to ADAP. A member of our community received an email from your office on June 15th, so today, I don't let any time pass, regarding a request to remain on AISH. I am writing because several statements in that email are inaccurate, and because the people receiving them are making decisions about their income and their survival based on what your office tells them. So in fairness, I will note what is correct. Once the transition takes effect on July 2nd, an ADAP placement cannot be appealed. That is the effect of Section 12.8 of the Act. For greater certainty, a formally eligible client, and this is in quotations directly from what was posted within that section, right? A formally eligible client has no right of appeal with respect to the formally eligible client's transition under Section 12.6 to the Alberta Disability Assistance Program, so to ADAP. I note this because the same standard of accuracy should apply to every statement in the letter, and several did not meet it, including on the subject of appeals. So, and this is where it gets important for everybody, which is why I posted the letter. So first, you advised the client to apply for the new DIA application, Disability Income Assistance. There is no such program. The Government of Alberta's own ADAP page states that there will be a single combined application for both ADAP and AISH. Disability Income Assistance is the umbrella term your own department uses for AISH and ADAP together, not a separate program a client applies to, right? So directing someone to a program that does not exist is not a small error when that person is trying to protect their income. Second, you wrote,
wait, let me just deal with number one. Let me deal with one.
Go ahead.
So number one, you're saying that she is directing an individual toward a a 3-letter acronym that has a petition attached to it, which actually doesn't exist. The shorthand 3-letter acronym that the DIA that she's speaking of is just a term colloquially used within the agency themselves.
Exactly.
Right.
It's
So
not a separate program.
it's not a separate program. It has no form to fill out.
No.
It is nothing except a 3-letter acronym for their own purpose within the agency.
Yeah, exactly. So she doesn't even know what that is.
Well, that's a big fucking misnomer, don't you think? Because you could search the rest of your life for a DIA form.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So there will be a new form that's coming out, which is disability that is dubbed the disability income assistance form, but that covers both AISH and ADAP. So it's not a separate program. It's basically the title of the form.
Okay.
So her directing somebody as, oh, well, this is a new program, right? It's not a new program. It's a form, and it's not even live yet.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's not even live, is it? Right.
No.
But she's directing her to do it now.
Exactly.
Wow.
Or that she can after July 2nd.
And so, but do you think maybe this Lynn Fisher knows she'll be able to do that July 2nd?
Oh, absolutely. We'll all be able to apply again for AISH as soon as July 2nd hits, because that's when the transition happens.
Right. So in a sense, okay, so walking this back, in a sense, this is their rhetoric applied to an AISH ADAP form that is called DIA.
Yeah.
Okay. So in a sense, she's not.
You know how Alberta Works has all of its tiers underneath it, right? So the main program is called Alberta Works.
Right.
So what they're going to do is they're going to end up dubbing the AISH and ADAP program. They're going to header it as disability income assistance.
Okay, that will be the new terminology.
But it's not a new program.
Right.
Yeah, but it's not a new program or a standalone program by any means. So that's where she needs to get really careful with how she's wording shit, because I'm the one who's getting these things and I'm correcting it.
Right. So just before we move on to number 2, and I want to very quickly, what is the error of number 1?
That is not an individualized program. It's not a separate program from AISH and ADAP. It's an umbrella term,
right,
referring to both programs.
Right, and she kind of was intimating that there's AISH, ADAP, and number 3 is DIA, and that's not true. And that's not true.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so that's what I called her on.
Good.
So second, you wrote you are not being forced to work. That is misleading. While no one is ordered to take a job on a set date, ADAP conditions continued benefits on participation in employment-related measures. And under the government regulation, Alberta Regulation 96/2026, the director has discretion to suspend or discontinue a person's benefits for non-participation. So telling a client they are not being forced to work without that qualification misstates how the program operates.
Right, yeah, it's leaving out valuable information. It's almost like a used car salesman, telling you all the great things the car has, but the engine has about 6 months left.
Exactly.
Right. So yeah, because the biggest thing, the thing I would want to know is where's the force being applied to me? Not everything good about, you know what I mean? Like, we do that in relationships, right? Like you get a new girlfriend or boyfriend and they show you everything good about themselves, and they're not telling you, oh, by the way, I have people in the meat freezer,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, I get you.
So third, you described ADAP as really quite a good program because many transfer to ADAP so that they can make more money. That is not what is happening. ADAP does not come into force until July 2nd, so it is not yet a program anyone can be on. And the roughly 50,000 AISH recipients being moved onto it are not volunteers seeking a better deal. They are being moved out of AISH by the province through the May 12th letters without their consent and without an individual reassessment of their ability to work. The only recipients with a real choice are the small group who would otherwise remain on AISH automatically, not the majority. Being reclassified into a program that is not yet operating is not the same as a person choosing to transfer to one. And for the great majority who have little or no employment income, ADAP means a lower benefit, $17.40 a month, against the $19.40 AISH provides. With University of Calgary economist Dr. Gillian Petty's modeling showing that anyone earning under $25,000 a year is worse off on ADAP than on AISH. We know that already. AISH, or ADAP, is not a good program. It is not going to supersede AISH as it stands today. So it's not better. And she needs to get her facts straight.
Well,
So,
once again, you're kicking the tires, right? You know, it looks good on the outside if all you speak about is, you know, the fancy paint job. But inside, the car's a piece of shit and it's going to fall apart. And when that is translated onto your life, it becomes an existential consideration. That you know, therefore is of all importance to who you are as an individual. And even though you can, you know, we covered this on Friday, that even though you can make more ostensibly on ADAP before losing all of your benefits, the immediacy of the money that you need to survive every month is really the question to be had, not what you could do, but what is in the moment. And what is in the moment is a loss, not what could happen. I could own a Lamborghini tomorrow, but that's a could. That's not a definitive. The definitive is that we're losing $200, and that's all that matters to the moment. And I don't know. Here's another math equation nobody has tried to figure out. I don't think I've never heard any math on what the average income is above and beyond AISH for an individual working on it. So I would highly doubt that most people are reaching 45 grand a year on extra income from AISH. Like, it just doesn't seem plausible to me. So the other thing becomes, well, who's going to reach that? Right? It's like the lottery. It's like the lottery. Well, buy a ticket and see if you win. But you're losing immediately in your own life today. So astounding.
So to continue on my rebuttal email to this woman who doesn't know very much, it is worth stating plainly what the good program framing leaves out. Current AISH already allows recipients to work. A single AISH client can earn up to $1,072 a month today with no reduction to their benefit, and half of the next portion, up to $2,009, is exempt as well. ADAP does not expand that, it shrinks it. The fully exempt amount drops from $1,072 to $700 on top of the $200 lower base. And the people who remain on AISH are not spared either. Under the new regulation, their earnings exemption falls from $1,072 to roughly $350 a month, with a 100% clawback above it. According to Dr. Petty's analysis of the past regulations, the single figure the province promotes, earning up to $45,000 a year, reaches only the small majority or small minority able to work at that level. For the more than 8 in 10 recipients with no employment income, that ceiling is meaningless, and the lower base is simply a cut. Whichever program a person lands in, the new framework lets them keep less than the one it replaces. It is not a more generous program. For most recipients, it is a reduction described as an opportunity.
Right. And when she says small minority, I would love to see the evidence of how small that minority is, because I bet you dollars to donuts, it's got to be 1% or less.
Well, it's 2 in every 10 recipients.
That reach 45 grand?
That's what her stuff ended up showing. That the people that can make 45,000 a year reaches only a small minority able to work. So for more than 8 in 10 recipients with no employment income, so that means that at least 2 in 10 are working.
Are making any income. Not
exactly.
Well, okay, but what I'm talking about is the 45 grand.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah.
Like if only 2 people in 10 people are actually working on, then what percentage of 2% is making 45 grand? It has to be like it's like the 30 into 80,000.
Exactly.
0.000375.
If you were able to make $45,000 a year, you wouldn't need AISH. You wouldn't need income support benefits because you would be working full time and you'd be fully self-sustained.
Well, that's the philosophy, right? That's the rational reasoning behind this. Astounding. And people look at a percentage like, well, 2 people. You don't understand, that's an 80% loss.
Yeah.
Right? You look at the 20%, but you're not flipping it. The adverse of that is an 80% loss of people that can't work. And you're throwing 80% of those people back out into the workforce? Are you nuts?
Exactly.
Please continue.
So fourth, and most urgently, the message your offices are giving clients about appeals is wrong on the calendar as much as the law. It is June 15th, 2026. The Bill 12 changes, including the new regulation AR 96/2026 and the new appeal framework, do not come into legal force until July 2nd, 2026. Until that day, every person who receives a May 12th letter remains an AISH recipient under the existing rules, and the existing AISH appeal process remains open with June 30th as the last working day to file. So that's what I've been pushing everybody to do. We have a right to appeal. Even in our letters, it says, oh, no, there's nothing for you to do right now. It's bullshit. We have every right to say, look at my file again.
Well, once again, I think the used car salesman analogy works, right? Like just look at the facade of the car, just look at the outside, don't lift the hood. Whatever you do, don't lift the hood. And God bless us for lifting that goddamn hood.
Oh, absolutely. And it's in their own writing. Like it's not something that I made up. It's in the legislation. So section 12.8 removes, and this is under Bill 12, removes the right to appeal. The transition under section 12.6. That transition and the bar that travels with it take effect on July 2nd. As of today, right now, the transition has not happened and the bar is not in force. So a current AISH recipient who disagrees with a decision affecting their file, including a May 12th letter, can file an appeal right now through the process that is open until June 30th. The government of Alberta's own AISH page confirms it. And I quoted the AISH page. If you do not agree with a decision AISH makes about your benefits, you can file an appeal. So that's what we're appealing. So telling a current AISH client today that they cannot appeal is incorrect. The new rules are not yet in force. The existing process is open, and they remain on AISH with every right to disagree with a decision made about them without their input. That right does not close until June 30th. So your email opens by saying that people are being misinformed, and this is the real kick in the ass for these assholes. We agree that misinformation is a serious problem. That is precisely why it matters that this email sent from an AISH office to a client who depends on its accuracy carried the errors above. We are asking plainly that you and your branch stop relaying these statements and correct the information before given to clients, because people are making irreversible decisions based on it. And in the case of appeals against a deadline that is 2 weeks away, everything here is sourced to the government of Alberta's own published material and the governing legislation. So it is straightforward to verify. Our full source indexed library is at Alberta Disability System Breakdown.netlify.app. And we are glad to provide the specific citation for any point with respect for the work your offices do and in the interest of the people who rely on them, me, the Alberta Disability System Breakdown. I wonder how that's going to land.
And where did you send this to exactly?
Oh, to every AISH office in Alberta.
Every AISH office. Okay.
And the assisted living and social services ministers, who are Mr. Newdorf.
Right, right.
Because they're the ones spreading the misinformation, not us.
All right. You know, it's very interesting, ladies and gentlemen. Very rarely does Chantal project as much as she's projecting right now. So obviously,
like I said, it woke me up. As soon as I looked at my phone and I saw that email, Gavin, I was out of bed, and it was like, I'm going to respond because they're wrong.
right. Yeah. I wouldn't want to meet you in a dark alley right now. I'll tell you that. You know, you are
I'm not
up.
that scary.
You are up, girlfriend. But good for you. This is important. I mean, and the fact that you can adjudicate this in real time, the fact that you have this, you know, wealth of knowledge in your computer is quite something. I mean, what we've just gone through almost constitutes a podcast in and of itself, doesn't it?
Almost.
I mean,
it
yeah.
was just my first thing in the morning email, Gavin. That's all that was.
Yeah, I know. That's crazy. Like I feel like just ending the podcast right here. Good night, Cleveland. You know, like we're good. No, great. And I would love to know what the chat thinks about this type of I don't know, what do we call it? Grand fuckery from your local government. And speaking of that colloquialism, that's what we're going to discuss today. So I just want to give some shout outs here. Pam, be sorry for nothing. You were doing your work, not the Lord's work, because he should be doing your work. Excellent work, Chantal. Maya, hey, good to see you. I hope you're well. Chantal, do I need to ask for an appeal extension or just submit my appeal?
Just submit your appeal.
Okay.
As long as it gets in before June 30th, you're golden.
Okay.
Because they have to look at it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And Pam says, sweetie, and I think she means you in this case. Can you email me the information on how I get my file, please?
Absolutely.
AISH file, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. And she's got her email there in the chat. You might not want to do that at 10,000 viewers, Pam, but at 6, I think you're safe. Yeah, right there. So yes, Pam, of course. Pam and I talked about that today, and she was asking me, and I'm like, I'm not Chantal. Okay. All right. You know, everybody's going to start looking at me like, hey, you know what Chantal knows, right? I'm going to go, no, I'm a drummer. I'm a Neanderthal. Please put your questions in the right place. Yes, they said don't do anything. I don't know.
Yep, I know they're saying don't do anything, and that is the absolute biggest reason why you should be doing something.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Chantal, did you happen to watch the video that I sent you?
No.
Okay.
I had a 4-hour call. Okay, so I sent the new email that I just finished reading back to AISH, telling them basically y'all are stupid, right?
Yep.
And get with the program. And then I ended up on a call for 4 hours helping somebody request their their access to information request, the same final request that Pam is requesting in the comments, which I'm sending right now. There are 2 ways to do it, Pam. I'm sending you both. Um, so email sent. There we go. So I spent 4 hours on the phone with her, making sure that she understood how to go through and file her information request for her file. And I walked her through the walkthrough.
Yeah.
So she's done her appeal now. It's all done. Awesome work. And she's filed for her information request. So that was perfect.
And you spent 4 hours on the phone with this person.
Yep.
Can I ask you a question, Chantal?
Yes.
Why don't you care about people?
I don't know. I guess that's one of the reasons why I spent 9.5 hours on the phone Saturday into Sunday morning talking somebody down.
Oh, wow.
That needed help.
Yeah.
So.
Quite stellar. Ladies and gentlemen, you know, while your government is trying to destroy your life, you know, we have the hands and feet of real benevolence and care. And the individual I'm speaking with right now, proud to call friend and co-host. So great work, man. Great work. If you haven't watched that, then I'm going to run. So I put together just a little montage about kind of what we're going to be discussing today. Actually, let's get into the discussion, and I'll play that a little bit later, I think.
No worries.
Yeah, let's get into today.
I have the notes up, so because I kind of expanded on it a little bit before I, you know, rushed over because I was like, what, a minute out before we went live.
Yeah. Okay, so, you know, stick with us, ladies and gentlemen. This is, you know, we're going to talk a little bit about democracy. We're going to talk a lot about Jason Nixon and you know, his puppet master. And, you know, we want to break down for you why this is so abhorrent to your nature as a human being and your station in the world, and why this should never be taking place, and the actions, you know, that we're all taking, and the fact that we are doing the correct thing. You know, Pam is doing right by getting her information. Pam is doing right by protesting alongside me. Pam is doing right in all these things. Maya is doing amazing by requesting information, right? Because we know this is the breakdown of whatever they kind of consider democracy, in which we do not possess. So I'm going to be reading from some notes here, but stick with me. Excuse me. Democracy. Okay, I just want to make sure I'm live. My mic is live. Democracy is not merely a method of selecting leaders. Democracy is not merely a method of selecting leaders, meaning that it's not about voting. Okay, that's the weak sauce of democracy. All right. People say, well, if you don't vote, you don't have an opinion. No, fuck you. I have an opinion because I'm a citizen of this country. And if you want me to vote, then give me an option. You see, there are no options. So it's not about voting. It is about the distribution of power, meaning who gets it, who gets that power. A belief that those who live with the consequences of decisions should possess meaningful influence over the decisions themselves. A belief that those who live with the consequences of decisions that are made should possess meaningful influence over the decisions themselves. And everyone from our class to the middle class to almost every class knows that that's not the case. And if that isn't the case, that we don't have meaningful influence, then we don't have a democracy. Okay? We just don't. And we don't have a democracy. So don't let politicians or the media bullshit you into believing that you have anything resembling it. The alternative is the concentration of power. Okay, so the alternative to you taking control of your life in a political sense is the fact that that concentration of decision making and the power surrounding your life is going to be concentrated into the hands of a very few. And usually those few are rich. because that is what provides them the influence to be a small group of people. That is called an oligarchy at its best. At best, it's an oligarchy, okay? Authority moving upward, sure. Decision-making moving further away from the people affected by it. Yes, you're affected by it, but you're also responsible to hold that power and an absolute place in the decision-making process. So if you don't have control over the decision-making process, then of course you're going to be affected either way. You are affected to your benefit if you partake in the process, and as we are now finding out, you're affected negatively if you don't, or if you have no recourse to. Influence is becoming increasingly restricted to political, administrative, financial, and institutional elites. No argument there. Every politician, every political movement claims to oppose this when it is out of power. Think about it, right? Think about the NDP right now, right? When the NDP is in power, you get austerity. Maybe not to this level, but you get the withdrawal of your medications, right? Is that right, Chantal? That's right, right?
Yeah.
Last time NDP was in power, they withdrew money for medication, right? And they screwed with the system in their own way. They also screwed with free speech and everything else. But when they're out of power is when they promise that they're going to give you that better life that you've always wanted. And then when they get power, it doesn't happen. And this has been proven over and over and over again. If you want to keep playing sycophant to some political party, that's your choice. I choose not to because I believe the whole apparatus of government is corrupt and that it needs a wholesale change. Few resist it once power is obtained, right? So you can't resist the temptation to screw with the lives of individuals once you gain that power, because that power begets power, okay? Right? Power is never satiated. You can be satiated monetarily, I think, but you can never be satiated by power. Power is a feeding machine that is never satisfied. It always needs to be fed because the ego always needs to be fed. So this is a spiritual consideration too, however you consider spiritual. That is why democracy requires more than elections. Duh. It requires constant public access to power, transparency in its exercise, and meaningful influence over the decisions that shape society. Now, I would go one step further to say it doesn't require constant public access. It requires, it is inverted, right? It doesn't require constant public access. It requires that the citizen is at the head of the decision-making process, not the politician. So right now what we have is an inverted democracy, which is not democracy, right? You have powerful people making decisions for you. That's not democracy. We have inverted the whole structure. And somehow we're okay with that until something this horrific like ADAP comes along and spells it out plainly for us that our government is just not that into us, that they could not give a shit about you. And of course, the NDP will rise up to say, oh, but we do. And then they'll prove you wrong when they gain the power. It requires, okay, without those safeguards, citizens gradually become spectators to decisions made in their name rather than participants in their creation. So, well enough said, but you are paramount in the creation of the systems that govern your life, right? And when I say govern your life, I mean you are at the head of the governance of that. You are primary amongst the governance of that. And people go, well, how can that be possible? There's too many people. I won't go into it, but believe me, I've done an entire expose on this, and I have the answer to that. And it is basically proximity and accountability. I'll leave it at those two words. Without those safeguards in the name, in their own, the result is always the same, regardless of ideology. Power concentrates, institutions expand, but More decisions are made by people the public cannot directly question, remove, influence, or even identify. Right? And this is the cloak, the mask that government wears, right? Well, who did this? Who's responsible for this? You know, Chantal, we talked about it, right? Like who wrote the paper? We got an AI May 12th, guillotine letter in the form of a letter, but who wrote it? Nobody knows.
They're saying that it wasn't a decision. Well, it's not a figment of my imagination. I have it.
Right.
So it's a determination that they're making against my AISH file without my consent, without my input, without a reassessment.
Right.
That don't fly.
Right.
It's real. It's tangible.
Right.
Somebody made the decision.
And I should know who made that decision based on my behalf or my destruction. And those living with the consequences find themselves increasingly separated from the decisions that govern their lives. And oh my God, if you people do not feel that in the chat, and Chantal, you and me, I don't know what to say. I don't know how to help you if you think that any of this is good, because it is simply not. I'm just going to stop there, go through the chat, and then Chantal, you take layer one, okay? If you have that. Pam says, my social worker told me not to do anything yet, but I need to. Thank you so very much, Pam, of course. And I'm also asking for my medical. They said cancer, diabetes, and neuropathy, depression, anxiety, stress is chronic disease, not terminal. Well, it is terminal. It depends on who's judging the length, width, breadth, and depth of those anomalies that you have, right? Because any one of those could lead you unto death, right? Because they affect your biology, your psychology affects your biology, and the other way around, right? We're not separating the mind-body the way we used to as part of the Enlightenment, right? Oh, they're two different entities. No, that was bullshit. And we called that the Enlightenment, right? Where we dummied down the understanding of body brain connections. So no, Pam, that's bullshit, and you can you can stand firm in your belief. I told the doctor today I'm not feeling good, depression, everything building up. You got 17, till the end of December 27, they said. Rent $14.50. My medication reducing. Yeah, I mean, you're spelling it out, Pam, and you're writing it actually into history right now. You should keep a record of this for yourself as well. But you are absolutely right. Maya, two wings of the same bird. Which wing is worse, though? Well, I actually have you see, the left wing and the right wing are attached to the body. Okay, so you can't take the body out of the equation of the bird. You can't take the head. You can't take the tail out, and you can't take the shit that comes out of its ass, which is the professional managerial class. Okay, I have actually built the structure of that bird that you're discussing, but the wings are not the important part. That drives it in a certain direction. But if the body is corrupt, and if the head of the bird is corrupt, you're not flying anywhere of importance, right? Those wings are only going to lead you to destruction if the totality of the bird and the innards and the way of the working of that bird is corrupted. The wings really don't matter. You're going to fall out of the sky. So, I hope that kind of makes sense. And that's why I say the government, Maya, is the body of the bird, right? And I would say that special interest corporations, world ideology, things like that, are the head. Okay, the tail, I forget what I put as the tail, and the shit coming out of the bird's ass is the managerial class. Okay, that is basically just delivering the corruption of the body and shitting all over us. Okay, They're the delivery system of that. Sorry for the, for that visual, but that's the way it is. Chantal, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, so this was segment 1, right, that you wanted me to cover? Okay, so that's the harm is real, right? And it's experienced as fear. Okay, so the transition is not experienced as a budget line. It's experienced as uncertainty about eligibility, reassessment, appeals, and income and housing. So fear, stress, and instability are not things people are imagining. They are the predictable result of changing the rules that decide whether someone stays housed and fed. We can say this as fact because it is what the inbox shows every single day. And of course, that's what I ended up fixing that segment for. So I'm glad I did that one.
Yeah, you can say that those that the letters in the inbox
Yeah.
is the shit being delivered by the managerial class. Okay, that's where the poop hits your mailbox. All right? Enough shit on my mailbox. I'm cleaning it. No more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I go through your notes, probably yes. I have to find it. Where is
Yeah.
it? Okay.
Like the Daniel Smith, that whole thing. Yeah. Material harm.
Where is it? I'm looking here.
That's okay.
Okay, so Danielle Smith aided by the that's it. Negligent and willfully obtuse functionary Jason Nixon is restructuring disability support. This is not experienced as policy paper, a budget line. So exactly, or an administrative exercise. Well, they seem to think that this is just an exercise. Look at their 30 people that she ended up claiming that they handpicked and had all the supports ready for to have people employed.
Right. And if you want to talk about exercise, I've seen Jason Nixon, and there's a guy who needs some exercise. All right.
I can't throw that stone because I kind of live in a glass house.
That's
when it comes
no.
physique.
No. You're humble about your station in life. You see what I mean?
That's true.
The stones. No. The stones apply. Not to you. Not to you.
Where is it here? I have to, right? Have to mention it because that's one stone I don't mind throwing myself. So it's experienced as uncertainty about eligibility, reassessment, appeals, income, housing. So for disabled Albertans, the AISH to ADAP transition introduces fear into decisions about employment, healthcare, financial security, and the ability to remain housed. So the fear becomes an outcome, stress becomes an outcome, and instability becomes an outcome. And for some, the risk of homelessness becomes an outcome. So before questions of sovereignty, administrative power, and institutional incentives, or political beneficiaries, there are people living with the consequences of decisions made by those exercising power. So everything else is in this investigation rests on that foundation.
Right. And that foundation being the fact that that this transition for us, I mean, we could talk about, the entire umbrella of governance, but we'll stick to this transition, introduces fear into decisions about employment, healthcare, financial security, and the ability to remain housed, right? Fear becomes that outcome, stress becomes an outcome, instability, and we know that, right? I mean, who's not afraid these days? I'm scared shitless. Stress becomes an outcome. I think, I can attest to that. Instability, of course. Where's your next meal? Right?
Yeah.
Right? What is your housing going to look like? And for some, the risk of homelessness becomes an outcome. And I will also add to that in some instances, for some, the existential question is finally answered
Yeah.
for them. And and at that, I want to take a moment, and I think this is a good time to share my my short clip that I made this weekend. So, you know, I really, this Bruce Johnson, you know, has really been on my heart this weekend. Bruce Johnson, ladies and gentlemen, is the individual that they found dead this week with the note regarding the reason for his demise. And so I had to put together, right, yes, yeah,
Yeah, I put his name on a card,
yeah.
so we won't forget.
Send that to me, please. And in doing this, ladies and gentlemen, last night, sadness gripped me. I literally, tears came to my eyes while I was putting this together. So I'm going to share this with you right now, and I will say no more.
Send in the clouds, don't bother their heat.
So there it is. You know, yeah, and it literally brought me to tears last night creating that. You know, I started out with kind of the joke meme, but you know, we all have to keep this in mind, and you know, the fact that if I can say this to us as a group of individuals, there's nothing we can do for Bruce in order to keep him, you know, firmly planted. But what we can do for Bruce is fight our fucking asses off. That's what we can do for him. And when I looked at his face last night, Chantal, I saw like the nicest man through that beard. You know, because I'd never really, you know, I'd like anybody else taken a look for, you know, 3.5 seconds and then moved on, right? And thought a little bit of, but I really took a look at this guy's face last night. I was like, I would love to meet that guy. I bet you that's just a fucking great guy, you know? And then I started to cry because, I mean, the song, I don't know if you know, Send in the Clowns, right? But this is really what we have, ladies and gentlemen. These are the insane clown posse of government. And it is no joking matter, even though you could make a joke for it. And I believe we can make many jokes for it once we win the battle.
Yeah.
There's a very serious thing right now. And your government are the most nefarious clowns that I have ever encouraged or incurred in my 60 years of life. And once again, I mean, if you take a look at that guy's face, you'll see a really great guy, a guy that really, you know, just seemed to smile from the inside. And it hit me hard last night. Yeah, no, Pam, you won't be. Oh, that's so sad, says Pam. God bless. Very sad, says Maya. I went on Daniel Smith's wall and asked how she could sleep at night and claim she's Christian, but legislates abhorrent treatment of the disabled community. It's because she's not a Christian. And what does Christian mean anyway anymore? It lacks the substance it even had in antiquity. Well, although we could argue that, couldn't we? Because of the fucking Inquisition. I mean, the Inquisition was Christians doing the most horrendous things ever in history.
Yeah.
I think we tend to forget that, right? that ideology is a killer. The way you think can be a killer, and you can justify anything you want. And in order for them to sleep at night, Maya, they have to justify it. And that becomes ruthless. Because now they will have convinced themselves that what they are doing has purpose and it has meaning. And this is very scary for a powerful group of individuals to be in this position. So it is most unfortunate. Most unfortunate. But this is what power does. Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. Okay? So once again, I know our hearts go out to Bruce, and I just thought I'd share that. I'll share it one more time before we end, because I think I have to. So, with that understanding, ladies and gentlemen, going back to my notes, that for some reason I have to pull up every time I close the window. We're going to look at layer 2, which is agency. Now, I don't mean an agency. I mean agency as in motivation. Okay, the motivation. Policies do not emerge from the ground. Okay, so policies don't come out of nothing, right? You know what I mean? Even when anything you do in your life, whether it's eat breakfast, brush your teeth, or make decisions about your life, it doesn't come out of nothing. It comes out of something, whether the subconscious, usually the subconscious, speaking something into the conscious mind that needs attention, right? Nothing comes from nothing, right? So policies don't emerge from the ground, from zero. Forms do not rewrite themselves. This is what we were talking about, Chantal and I. Somebody wrote that fucking May 12th form. Who is it? Is the question. Eligibility criteria do not redesign themselves. These are really important things to think about. Eligibility criteria do not redesign themselves, right? So when eligibility becomes a different thing, eligibility didn't think of that. A person did.
Yeah.
Right. And so that person has to have an ethos. And that ethos, or that way they think, has to be driven by a secondary motivator or a primary motivator, right? You don't think nothing for no reason. You think it either because somebody told you to think it or because you thought of it yourself. And that's either going to have a positive outcome or a negative outcome, right? And that comes back to self-interest as to why you think the way you think. Appeal systems do not restructure themselves. These decisions are made by people, authorized by governments, administered by ministers, defended by ministers, implemented by bureaucracies. What I'm showing you is the way the sausage is made. Okay? Once again, a sausage doesn't make itself. And neither does anything in government. It is all constructed, right? And, I'd rather watch a sausage being made than observe my government on any daily basis. The first responsibility of any serious investigation is to identify who is exercising power, over what, and with what consequences. Okay? So in a good system, a system of democracy, let's say, right? We would be asking, who is exercising the power? All right? Who are the people? Very simple. Over what are they exercising that? Let's say over our lives. And with what consequences? So should they perform a bad or a misleading or a ineffective action, they are immediately and forever held to consequence. Now, that is not what we see today, and that's why democracy does not exist. Not in NDP, not in the Liberal, not in the UCP. Some are, if you want to argue some are better than others, well, I don't know. The 4th level of hell is better than the 7th level. But that doesn't mean I want to be in hell. And I think we can dream bigger than the 4th level of hell. That's all I'm saying. That brings us back to Jason Nixon, not because he is solely responsible, but because he repeatedly appears at the point where authority and consequences intersect. Because he, Jason Nixon, repeatedly appears at the point where authority and consequences intersect. He has the authority and suffers none of the consequence. Disability support, housing, homelessness, addiction services, social services, cabinet power, and now finance. Before asking who benefits, we must first establish who is acting. All right? And I've just showed you he is the actor. Now, in my little short clip there, he is the actor of a greater function. That's why he is attached to strings. But if you also notice, Daniel Smith is also attached to strings. Where do those strings lead? I left them out of the equation because I don't know, but I know they exist. So yeah, and so this is this is how we start to think critically about the types of systems we have, about who is accountable, who has to be accountable, and what we must do in order to gain the power for consequence to be an actual thing in the lives of politicians and us as the general public, right? And any power that says they serve us. Do you want to do layer three, Chantal?
Sure.
Yeah.
My kids are just coming in the door, and I'm getting agendas.
Oh, nice. Nice. Do you want me to?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. I'll take over. I'll do layer three.
Sorry.
No. You go. I don't think anybody in the chat, they want you to certainly be about your responsibilities.
Well, it causes a lot of confusion and dysregulation if Mimi's not doing her thing after school.
Yeah. I'm going to go to the chats just for a second.
Yeah.
Bruce and a lot more. Yes, Pam, we know he's not the only one, and we know he won't be the only one. But for those who want to stand with the memory of that beard and that smile and that life force and move on his behalf, that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. And you said absolutely there are more. I reach out to people I've talked to randomly, and there are 2 from the last time I checked in who have passed, be it health complications or old age. Right, so not necessarily at their own hand, which is, yeah. Maya, if you follow the actual book, it says how to treat disabled elders most vulnerable, and what they're doing ain't it. You're supposed to be charitable, truly care, and help people. If the book you're regarding is the Bible, of course. But once again, the Bible is left up to interpretation, and the Bible is so open a book that it can be interpreted any way an individual wants to. Now, the part about that matters is the fact that we can ascertain interpretation, whether it be a salient interpretation or one that is destructive, right? And you do that by what serves the greater good. So what these people do, like like lots of Christians do, is just to use it to serve their own purpose, right? Look at Turning Point USA, that whole Charlie Kirk debacle, right? And I mean, the whole thing is just asinine and a load of shit. And I'm sure if Christ returns, these will be the Pharisees he's talking about. The ones that will be cast first into that proverbial lake of fire. I'll be second to them, man. I know that much. And yet I don't believe in any of that shit because I was already there. Jason Nixon sucks mustard seed. He sucks more than mustard seed, but you're right, Pam. He does suck mustard seed. He's part of the mustard seed. Yeah, well, he was, and his brother was, and as far as I can confirm, his brother still receives a pension from the mustard seed. And that place is going to explode. Fucking that thing's going to go gangbusters, man. if ADAP has its way. Maya, yeah, it's sad. And yes, they are the Pharisees. Yes, he'd be flipping their tables if he was here. Yeah, he'd be, he'd basically be turning them inside out on a rotisserie. I think, when he returns. The DI is moving. Well, the building isn't moving because it's too big. It's going to be collapsed, I believe, Pam. And they're going to move that agency out into the 14 districts within Calgary. And I'm sure Mount Royal can't wait to have a guy doing crack on their lawn. I mean, oh my God, man. Once again, our government is so foolish, so stupid. So utterly foolish. I laugh. Because if you don't laugh, you'll cry. Are you ready for layer 3, Chantal?
If I said no, would you get angry? I can do it. It's okay.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
Yep,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay, go.
All right, so administrative power. So material harm does not administer itself, right? People do. In every case, this person is known as Danielle Smith. In this particular case, it is her flunky, Jason Nixon. Lurch, right? And I changed it around for you. Through ministries, through policies, and through reassessments, or through eligibility criteria and through appeals. Through the administrative machinery of government, the consequences are experienced by everyone else. Well, yeah, because it's not hitting them in any way, shape, or form. Eligibility must be determined, appeals must be processed, and benefits must be approved, denied, reviewed, reassessed, and monitored. As authority becomes concentrated within administrative systems, increasing power is exercised not through public debate, but through forms, procedures, classifications, eligibility requirements, and institutional discretion.
Can I stop you there just for a sec? Because what you said is actually extremely important. As authority becomes concentrated within administrative systems, okay, the bad part of communism, just so you know, increasing power is exercised not through public debate. So this is something that in my construction of 30 pages and the work that I've done exclusively on civics and returning us to a form of civics that actually works for the citizen, that has citizens at the front of power, decision-making, the political system, art, commerce, everything you could think of. The public debate becomes the lifeblood and the safeguard against all rapacious systems of governance. Because here's the thing, we no longer have town halls. Maybe we do, but they're structured, they're online a lot of times. You're told to shut up and you're watching, you're an observer, you're not a participant, and then you just clap like a seal for the person, basically reading off a script, their agenda to you, and in which you have to accept. But this is not the public forum. This is not how we debate, okay? How we debate is that we all gather in a room. So I'll give you an example. We live in districts in Calgary and in Edmonton, and in Calgary there are 14 districts. Each district needs to have its own public forum and system on a monthly basis, in which the MLA and the what do you call them? The person over that district, not the MLA, but come on, Chantal, somebody in the chat.
The MP, the city council.
The city councilman. Right. Thank you. The city councilman need to be involved in that meeting, in that public meeting on a monthly basis, in which they do not speak as much as they give answers to the questions that the police or the people of that particular neighborhood have, right? And this is an ongoing process. So you may have seen it at a town hall every once a year, right? Where somebody goes in, and even if the people are angry, nothing gets done. But if this is done once a month, and if your MP's or your local constituent is by law and by the fact that they will lose their job if they don't participate, right? They have to participate. Then every month they have to hear from the people. So what does that do? Well, over time, that can do nothing but put the people in power of their government. You see what I mean? Because the government can no longer deflect. It comes back to you once a year, and it treats you like shit for 11 months and 29 days, right? No, every month they have to sit with the public, with the grand demos, and give an account for themselves, what they are doing, any changes that need to be made, any suggestions that need to be given, anything like AISH ADAP. Think about it. If we had town halls every month and AISH ADAP was a reality in our lives, there's no way our local government could stand under that strain. There is no way. We would basically outshout, outdo, and demolish the structure in which has been constructed around the politician, right? So it's a very important thing. I hope I've made myself clear. I find myself saying a lot, and I don't know why. I know this shit like the back of my hand. Oh, wait a minute. I didn't notice that. Anyway.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah, that was good, huh? But, okay, so not through public debate, but through forms, procedures, classifications, blah, blah, blah. A disability benefit can be reduced through reassessment, but not if you're at a town hall and you say there's no fucking way. You see what I mean? And if that goes on, just think about that one thing. A disability benefit can be reduced through a reassessment. If there's a town hall of an entire class of individuals in that town hall saying you're not going to do that, on a monthly basis, they would shut down City Hall. And City Hall would have to comply. And if your provincial government operated on that same basis, they could never institute it. It could never be instituted. It is the structure of your government that allows them to do things that are not in your best interest. And there's a way out of that. There is a way back from that. And that's what I've been umming and ahhing about. An appeal can be denied because the deadline was missed. Anything. A person can lose support because a form was incomplete. A worker can be declared capable of employment by someone who has never met them. You see what I mean? They can be denied employment by somebody who's never even met you. A housing applicant can be deemed ineligible by criteria they had no role in creating. This is the professional managerial class. They're handed a sheet of paper that says, this is how you screw people. At least that's what it should be called. And they go about doing the work of the master. They are equally as complicit as Daniel Smith and Jason Nixon. That doesn't mean that you take some sort of action against them that is illegal. It means you put them in the same box, right? All these people get thrown into the same moving box and shipped out of the house. You see what I'm saying? A citizen can be required to repeatedly prove what was already proven. We know that. These are not mere administrative decisions. They are exercises of power. They can do it because, you know, my dad was a very abusive man. And people have asked me in my entire life, why did your dad beat you? And it's a very simple answer. Because he could. Okay? That's why the government beats you. Because you allow it, and they can. It is coming the day where we will not allow it. That's what our protest July 1st is about. It's about
There's another protest coming up.
It's about
I didn't have a chance to talk to you about it yet, but there is another protest happening at the legislature June 19th at 11 a.m.
Oh, okay. Okay. Let's cover that in a minute. But yes, okay. I knew about, I'd heard it, but yeah. Democratic authority derives from the citizenry. Okay. This is Socratic democracy. Socrates, the way he explained democracy. Democracy authority, democratic authority is derived from the citizenry, not from a politician, not from Nenshi, not from Smith, from you. From you, the people that actually know what their lives need. Nobody knows you as good as you know yourself. Nobody can tell you what to do better than you can tell yourself. That is why you are in control of government.
Well, we're supposed to be.
You're supposed to be, and you're not. That's where we're headed, I
I
believe.
keep being told that I should be in charge of government, Gavin. I don't need to hear it from you too.
Yeah, no, but this is the justification right here. But it is the justification, Chantal, for every human being. Not the smart ones, not the ones that do the greatest work. Every human being. Because once again, we'll look at Chantal and we'll go, oh my God, she's so amazing. She needs to be the president. Not necessarily. Stop that. That's not right. Now, that doesn't mean she couldn't be. I'm not saying she couldn't be. I'm saying that in so much as you judge why Chantal should be, you can easily fall back into a technocratic ethos. Oh, she's so smart. The greatest demand on a politician is not what they know. It is their integrity. Now, that's the only reason I would ever vote for Chantal, because I know her integrity. I don't even care how smart she is, and holy shit, she's smart. I only care that she carries with her integrity, that she carries it into a place, and that she remain open to criticism, critique, accountability, and all the things that we as a public serve unto her. There is no praise for the politician. She can get praise when she got out. You see? This is the trap we've fallen into. Celebrity culture, right? Where people can't, we can't do what the great people do. Bullshit. You can do anything the great person does. We've been educated out of that. You are amazing. Sorry, Meg, this is where I get up.
Everybody is sending their own appeals. You guys are doing the work, and I haven't pointed that out deliberately because I don't want it to land as a scary, oh my God thing, but it's something to celebrate. I'm giving you guys the stones to throw back at the government, and you guys are all grabbing them and throwing them, and that is fantastic. You guys are advocating for your place in this world, and that is so important, and you're learning how to do it.
Right, right. And this is the grand politique. I mean, you may say that this has nothing to do with AISH or ADAP. It has everything to do with it, because we wouldn't be incurring this if we had gotten it right in the first place. You see, and we haven't gotten it right. But we can get it right. We can. And this is how we get it right. It's a process, but we get it right. The further consequential decisions move from public influence and into bureaucratic systems, the greater the distance between those who exercise power and those who live with its consequences, like Ottawa, 3,000 miles away, like the Alberta legislature, 300 miles away. You see? That's too far. That denotes isolation immediately. So, do you want to take layer 4, Chantal?
Sure, I'm just trying to fix this. Oh my goodness. I was typing a response to somebody, and then all of a sudden another window popped up.
Yeah.
And it went back to who I was talking to, and it wasn't, or who came up, and now I've got like 2 messages in one. It's like, oh my God. Like, let me edit that. Oh my goodness.
Let me, while you're doing that, just let me speak on behalf of my own self here, just for people watching. It may seem like I'm upset, and I am upset. I'm not upset at you. I'm upset at a system. I rarely, if ever, judge people, because people, if I judge a person, I have to judge myself, because I am human just like them. I am very careful about my judgments on people, but I will judge systems, into antiquity till I'm dead. All right. My passion, or what you may constitute as anger, really is passion, and I mean that in my case. I am fed up. I'm really fed up with the way we're being treated. And so I hope you don't mistake my passion for anything directed toward you. I love this community so much. You are, and I've said it before and I'll say it again, the wisest, the most philosophically and ethically sound people I have ever met. More than the politicians that I've met, more than any celebrity I've ever met, and I've met many. You have the greatest intellect I've ever witnessed. I can say that about the homeless. I can actually say that about the crack addict. I've met amazingly smart crack addicts. And who I meet in society, through the politician, through the celebrity, through people like this that we put on pedestals and praise as the wisest, they are really ignorant people. And they're ignorant because they have not taken the kind of journey that you have. And the reason that I love this class of individuals so much, you've taken the journey, you've done the hard work, you've come to that place of understanding who you are and what you mean to the world. And that means everything to me. And that's why I couldn't love you more. So if I get up, if I get passionate, it's because I am purely passionate and angry at a thing. So I hope you all understand that. Chantal, if you want to go ahead.
Sure.
Yeah.
And we were on 4, right? Okay. No spelling words this week. That is awesome. High five. Okay, you can go play. Okay, well then you go do that. Sorry, the last one just trickled in. Sign that really quick. Cut the corner. Oops. Throw it across the living room. There we go. Done. All right. So layer 4, the Nixon-Smith ethos. So power, responsibility, and the disabled citizen. Right? So layer 3 established that power. Your agenda's over there. Established that power is increasingly exercised through administrative systems, through eligibility criteria, through reassessments, through appeals, through classifications, through forms, through deadlines, and through the institutions that determine who qualifies for support and who does not. But administrative systems do not emerge from nowhere. Exactly. They reflect a philosophy that embody assumptions about people, or they embody assumptions about people. Assumptions about work, assumptions about responsibility, assumptions about dependency, and assumptions about what government owes its citizens and what citizens owe in return.
Right. The operative word is assumption. They assume it. They don't know it. Right. It's not a clinical fact. It's not a medical fact. Right. It's an assumption. And this is how your government leads, by assumption, not by science, just so you know.
Start making faces at my eldest as he walks by. All right. So this is where the broader political worldview of Danielle Smith and Jason Nixon becomes relevant. So because the same ethos that appears in their discussions of sovereignty, federal authority, regulation, and personal responsibility also appear in their approach to disability policy. So the language changes, the underlying assumptions often do not. Well, we see that already, like even with that email that I got from one of our members this morning from AISH, right?
Yeah.
They're just going off of whatever hearsay they have. They're not actively researching what is actually happening with the AISH to ADAP transition. So you know.
Exactly.
I always try to throw the ball back in their court.
Well, yeah, exactly, and two things here, right? Number one, it's move fast and break things. What happened? What happened with this lady today that you received the letter from? Is the definition of that. It doesn't matter that you know a thing. It just matters that you say it. And if it breaks something, that doesn't matter. If it breaks the individual, it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is that it was done.
Yeah,
Number one. And number two, this is not just for the disabled. This is for everyone. Because the ethos applies across classes, right? So when Chantal's talking about, they reflect a philosophy. They embody assumptions about people. This is what your government does, right? It reflects in its mandates or the things that it legislates. It reflects a philosophy, a thing that they believe. They might not even believe it, but they're willing to sell their life for it. You see what I mean? And they embody assumptions about people. So they assume, I would say that in the disabled class, they assume we're stupid and that we cannot do anything ourselves. And nothing could be further from the truth. And this is their ignorant assumption of you as a human being. Well, who stands for that? Right? If somebody comes up to you in your face and says, you're a stupid handicapped person, you're liable to punch that person. Why would you ever
run them over with your scooter?
Right, or roll over them with your, right, or beat them with a cane, right? Whatever it takes. You wouldn't take it, is what I'm saying. Why do you take it from government? I don't understand. You okay there?
Yeah, I think I've got cat hair at the back of my tongue. My cat keeps on coming up onto my desk, and it's like, oh my God.
Oh God. I hate that tickle. Come on, that tickle.
It's that evil white one that is all foofy, and it's like, stay off my desk. Oh my goodness. All right, so
Penny, oh yeah. Hey Colin, how you doing, bro? Sorry, go ahead, Pam.
Oh, is somebody in the chat with us, or?
Yeah, he's a drummer, man. He's a good buddy of mine. He's a drummer, and he's saying a big hello.
And let's do that then.
Yeah, no, great guy. Good to see you, Colin. Good to see you. Back to you, Pam. Or back to you,
Pam.
Sorry,
Pam?
Chantal.
Oh my goodness.
There wasn't even anything Freudian about that. I don't even know what the hell that was. Back to you, Chantal.
Give you a hard time now for a week.
Oh yeah, Pam's gonna say, well, I should be sitting in that chair, Gavin. Sorry, Chantal, well, not sorry. Pam's great. I mean, who wouldn't want to be Pam, and who wouldn't want to be you?
No, I thought for a second there that she was actually in the like in our voice chat, and it was like, really, she's here? Hi, I'm waiting, right? And you kept on saying, back to you, Pam, and it was like, oh, I can't wait. And no, you're talking to me.
No, I'm talking to you.
You're not saying that.
No,
all right.
Go ahead.
So throughout their political careers, both have frequently emphasized self-reliance, individual responsibility, reduced dependence on government, and provincial autonomy, and skepticism towards centralized authority. So supporters view these principles as empowering. Critics view them as potentially dangerous when applied to people whose circumstances are not primarily determined by choice. That distinction matters. So because a disabled Albertan is not merely participating in an economic system. Did you want to emphasize anything on that or no?
Yeah. I think once again, we're really getting to the crux of it. So if we slow down a little bit, we can, so supporters view these principles as empowering. Well, until they get sick, maybe they do, right? So supporters of this ethos, right? As long as they're healthy, right? Or they're Nepo babies, or, they've done their work and they're old now, they can support an ethos like that because they're not affected by it. You see? Critics view them as potentially dangerous when applied to people whose circumstances are not primarily determined by choice. You see? So my mind, I didn't choose to have the, the things done to me that were done to me, nor to suffer the effects of those things psychologically. I didn't choose that. That happened. And as a result, I have incurred inabilities in some capacities, right? Right? A person that was born without a leg didn't choose that. They don't have a leg.
Or
Right?
somebody that, has suffered, complications with their health and have therefore been deemed that, being an amputee is necessary. That's not a choice that they woke up one day and thought, oh, hey, maybe the amputee life is for me.
Yeah.
It's a medical, happening. It's not, you're going to go into your garage with a hacksaw and do away with it. Like, it's just ridiculous.
Right, exactly. It's not Disneyland for these people. You see what I'm saying? They have real, pragmatic, real world things that need to be mitigated. And that's why your government is there. It's the only reason a government exists, right? Thomas Paine said it. He said, society is created by our wants, and government is created by our wickedness. The only reason a government exists is to make sure that people don't exercise authority beyond another person. And our government is the most culpable, right? All they do is exercise authority over every citizen to their demise and their destruction. This is what I talk about, the inverse of democracy. It is completely inverted and flipped on its head, right? So,
because that is not for the people.
no, it's for them specifically, and we've allowed it, and history has allowed it. But I had a talk with a guy today, and I really feel that we're coming to that event horizon where new choices are going to be made, and a new, origin of species, meaning, a new generation, is not going to be afforded the luxury to live the way that we are starting and incurring our life today. They're not going to be able to sustain themselves. It's going to be impossible. So the only thing becomes death or revolution. That's all there is left. And if you live in this life and you're doing well for yourself, nobody has anything bad to say about you. But realize that you are not the 80,000 we're talking about. Right?
Yeah.
You may not understand it. And whatever your belief system is cannot be applied to those people. Right? There has to be a greater understanding of the human species than class distinction. And that is the fact that we are all owed the respect of life, liberty, and property, not the pursuit of happiness. Because if you have property, you'll be pretty fucking happy. All right? You gain happiness through your pursuits in life and being afforded the respect of your humanity. Because a disabled Albertan is not merely participating. Yeah, we don't participate in an economic system because we can't participate in the economic system. We can't fully participate in capitalism, not to the extent that a healthy person can. So there has to be a different metric. This is why politics is fluid. It's not one thing all the time. It's not strictly conservatism, and it's not strictly liberalism. And I've come back to this analogy. If you have $5 in your bank account, are you more apt to be conservative or liberal? If you have $1 million in your bank account, are you more apt to be conservative or liberal? It's a question of the moment, right, that you see yourself in, right? If you have $5, you're going to have to be conservative. If you have $1 million, you have the luxury of being liberal. And it is the intent, or it should be the intent, of government and the people to bring themselves into alignment with nature in a way that affords them the luxury to be more and more liberal, right? But you can't be that if your basic needs are not taken care of, which is a conservative proposition. right? I hope that's understandable. And anyone can debate me if they want. Yeah, I mean, please, in the chat, if you feel that's inconsistent, logically inconsistent, go ahead, please.
Yeah. Do you want me to continue?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you were just taking a breath to continue on, and I wanted to make sure that you had the floor if you needed it.
No, I just feel that it's necessary to really uncover the words, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they are living with biological, medical, and psychological and health realities that cannot always be overcome through effort, optimism, retraining, or labor force participation. I agree with that 100%. So the danger, critics argue, emerges when systems designed around the ideal of independence begin treating dependency itself as a problem to be solved. Okay, that was a message that came through. I was wondering what that pop-up was.
That's a big one. That might take some explanation. So they are living with biological, medical, psychological, and social realities that cannot always be overcome through effort, optimism, retraining, or labor force participation. Right? Like a person that is lacking a chromosome or has one too many is going to be at the mercy of that for the entirety of their life. There is no medical thing that can change that. So within that biological, medical, psychological, and social, there are realities that some people are not going to be able to mitigate. That constitutes about 80,000 Albertans. Not 5 million, not the majority, a minority. But it is an absolute reality to 80,000 people. Therefore, the danger emerges when systems designed around the ideal of independence, meaning that pull up your bootstraps. Once again, this is a conservative ideology. Pull up your bootstraps. But I learned a few days ago that the actual etymology of that phrase, pull up your bootstraps, was actually meant to denote that there are things in life that can't be done, meaning that you can't pull your bootstraps up over your head. Right? You can't lift yourself into the air by your bootstraps. That's the etymology of that phrase, meaning that some things are impossible. It wasn't pull up your bootstraps and get busy. It was some things are not possible. Interesting, right? We don't look at it that way. We think it's a matter of agency, but that's not where it originated. It originated saying that you can't lift yourself into the air by your bootstraps, meaning you have limitations. So there's bootstrap people, there's your ass in a hat. All right. The danger critic emerges when systems designed around the ideal of independence begin treating dependency itself as a problem to be solved. Right. And I hate to invoke it here, but that's what Hitler thought. That was part of the ethos of Nazi Germany, was the fact that dependency is now a problem because we are of the independent mind. So anyone that isn't independent is levying a weight on society. Interestingly enough, the people in Hitler's immediate geography, in his cabinet, were both disabled and gay. Right? So how do you square that circle? Right? Hitler himself was addicted to fucking whatever those things were in the 30s. That's why he went nuts. So there is no argument here because we're not dealing on the basis of the human species and what we know biologically, psychologically, and sociologically. And this is where we need to be retrained. We need to be educated correctly as the fact that every human being matters, whether you can prove your worth through effort or brain or agency or in any other way. every human being is valuable to the planet in which they had the luxury of showing up on. I hope that's understandable. Once
Oh,
again,
absolutely.
debate me if you want. Yeah, go ahead. I'm getting the side eye there. I'm getting the
All
side eye.
right. So the danger, I think I read that part already. Yes. At that point, support programs can gradually shift in purpose. So from providing security to testing eligibility, from ensuring stability to encouraging workforce participation, and from recognizing limitations to measuring capacity, from supporting vulnerability to managing it. So under that framework, reassessments become more common. Work capacity evaluations become more important, and eligibility reviews become more significant. Administrative oversight expands. Well, that's one thing that I don't think is actually happening. And I want to dive into that a little bit more, but I'm taking my phone outside because I need a smoke. So in terms of the oversight, I think that's where the AISH program has really fallen. Okay, because if everybody was actually being reviewed, right, and all of our needs were being met on that level, just as administrative oversight, we wouldn't be running into the problem that we're running into now. We would still have caseworkers, not a call center. We would still have direct communication lines open and established with people that want to advocate for us. And that's not what we're seeing. Things are closing. They are making more doors than windows, right? So that in itself is not adequate administrative oversight. They could have established under AISH already reassessment windows where, hey, it's built into the framework, into the AISH policy, that every five or 6 years or what have you, you need to be reassessed. They could have had that built already. And that would have been a hell of a lot better than, oh, let's make an ADAP program and force work participation onto an entire populace that doesn't have any kind of work background.
Right. Well,
to sustain that.
It depends on what you mean by administrative oversight. And
people watching.
Well, right, but what does, so where are they watching though, right? Like you can say, well, they're watching to make things fair and equitable, or you can say they're watching to to make decisions that are destructive, right?
Yeah.
And so I would say that the administrative oversight obviously is expanding to the tune of $46 million more a year on ADAP than on AISH. The question becomes, is that a benevolent oversight? Is that one where people go, are you okay today? Like,
Yeah, no, it won't be.
Right.
Not with the changes that they made to AISH already. It's not going to be a positive oversight. It's just going to end up more of that bureaucratic red tape where we don't know who the hell we're supposed to phone.
Exactly. You're going to have $46 million more a year in money given to individuals who are going to tell you, sorry, I can't answer that question. You're going to spend.
That's not how I see administrative oversight. Like administrative oversight, it would be a position where that person who is overseer of everything that's going on, right, that they are responsible and they are accountable for whatever happens below them. That to me is administrative oversight, and that's not what we're going to see.
No, that is not what we're going to see. We are going to see the opposite of that until we can change the structure. Once again, we're living in a moment where we just want fairness, right? Where we just want equity, where we just want, nothing to change because it was fair the way it was. And I agree with everyone out there. Unfortunately, like they say about love, sometimes love isn't enough. And sometimes just because you want something, it doesn't mean you're going to get it. because the structure itself is corrupt.
Yeah.
The structure itself doesn't listen to you. The structure itself doesn't hear your pain. And it won't hear your pain until the structure changes. That is why we talk in terms of legacy politics, old politics, antiquated politics. The political structure that is begged to be formed today does not resemble 1950. And it doesn't resemble whatever the politics of 1950 are telling you today. It doesn't resemble that. It doesn't resemble globalism on their terms. It represents globalism on your terms. This is the difference, right? And so as much as we want something, we have to look at changing the structure of how that thing is done. And of course, we want wins in the meantime. And we're fighting tooth and nail for that. And that's how we actually win. If you want to use that term win, this is how we win. By remaining vigilant, diligent, unceasing in our approach to the nefariousness that government has proposed on our lives. We come out July 1st at 10 a.m. We stand and we learn and we debate and we scream and we protest and we do everything necessary, everything in the canon of our ability to change the structure. It is not going to happen because that guy did it. It's going to happen because you did it. And I know, well, I'm speaking to a community that not everyone can participate on the same level. I don't want anybody in here right now, or anyone who listens to this podcast, to think that somebody with no arms and no legs has to get themselves down to July 1st if they can't. You stay home. No one is petitioning you to do that. Right? If you can, like Zachary does, if you can type out an email with your lips, great. You have done the work that nature or a god or something has encouraged you to do, and that's it. And then you watch TV, and you forget about it. You forget about the rest of the day, right? You go on live to the podcast or to the podcast July 1st. And you go, man, I support you guys. I'm there with you the whole way. And we go, fucking A, brother. We're, our heart is for you. It is participation in any way we can. But if we're waiting around for the next savior, he's not coming. Because you're coming to the table. You are my savior and I am yours. That's the paradox. That's the duality. Do you have anything to say on that, Chantal?
Yes and no. I was just about to yell here, but I've got neighbors out in their yard, and they probably scare the hell out of them. But yeah, no, I agree totally. Like we are not waiting to be saved. We're doing this ourselves.
Yeah.
And it takes all of us. So, and that's actually a line from that one song that I played at the end of my what the heck was it called? The tea time that I had on Saturday.
Oh. And what was that? What song was that?
That was the we don't quit. I think it was. I'd have to check the YouTube my YouTube channel to verify exactly what song it was, but I know you have it.
Okay. And it should be noted, ladies and gentlemen, that Chantal is running a Facebook Live every Saturday at, I believe, 2 p.m.
Yeah.
Open chat for people that have questions about what's happening. And Chantal will answer every question.
Yeah.
Why don't you speak on that, Chantal? You know, of course, more about it. Yeah.
So every Saturday we'll sit down with tea, a non-alcoholic beverage of your choice, alcohol if you want it, anything that you want to have to drink during the tea time. It's completely on your end, but anybody can join into that Facebook Live chat. I'll be saving it to YouTube after the fact, just so that it doesn't disappear in 30 days and people can rewatch and listen and see if their questions have been answered. If you don't want to ask your question in the live chat, you can PM me directly. Just let me know that you want to save that question for Saturday. Otherwise, I'm just going to answer it right away.
Right.
But you can remain anonymous. Like, you can come into the chat. You don't have to say anything. You can just watch. But if you want your questions answered, there's more than one way to get that done. So, and that's what we're going to be doing live every Saturday at 2.
Okay, fantastic. You know, we're 90 minutes. We're almost 2 hours in. Speaking of songs, Chantal, I want to play your number one hit in Guam. It is a song that Chantal penned and I edited, or you could say engineered to a certain extent, produced to a certain extent. And I'm going to play that for you now, and I hope you enjoy it. It's a great message, and I think we could use an aperitif, something to cleanse the palate at the moment. Here we go.
Are you coming to the steps where the quiet voices rise, where the parents bring the paperwork and the hungry children cry? Are you coming to the steps where the sick are told to wait, where they cut the hands that held us up, then call the damage fate? We are still here. We are still here. Our backs against the wall without fear. We are still here. We stand as one. We'll fight their lies until our work is done. Are you coming for the children who were promised care and time, where the forms replace the helping hands and support becomes a line? Are you coming for the families who have begged and called and tried, while the doors keep closing quietly and the need stays locked inside? We are still here. We are still here. Our backs against the wall without fear. We are still here. We stand as one. We'll fight their lies until our work is done. Don't go quiet. Don't go alone. Let them reap what they have sown. They could never hide their shame. It is they who bear the blame. Are you coming for the sick ones who can't lose another thread, where the medicine, the rights, the care stand between the living and the dead? Are you coming for the renters with the notice on the door, where the check was never enough to live and now they're taking more? We are still here. We are still here. Our backs against the wall without fear. We are still here.
Yeah, and the song that I was talking about was We Don't. Yeah. That's the one that I played at the end of my tea time video on YouTube.
Oh, all right. Well, there is that one, ladies and gentlemen, Carl, called We Are Still Here. Like I said, gaining traction all over the world, a #1 hit in Guam, and rising on the charts in Uzbekistan. So there it is. I love the tune. I love the lyrical content of it. Really is explanatory to what we're dealing with today. Beautiful, beautiful, and yeah, beautiful. So we have come to, I believe, ostensibly, what is the end of um, another show. Unless there's something we should, let's just quickly touch on July 1st.
Okay.
Because I find that that's very important. And once again, people are questioning July 1st, and I don't know why. Somebody questioned my post. I put a post out, and somebody's like, "Why Canada Day?" And I'm like, because it's not Canada for us. It's not a celebration for us. And we don't have to celebrate Canada if there's nothing to celebrate. Right? We can stand to demand the Canada we want. That's as important as playing sycophant to politicians, right? Or remembering what was. I want to create what is.
Yeah.
And what is what's not. So what are you thinking about Canada Day?
Well, that was more so that we could get the message out to a lot of the working class, because we're going to have a lot of families and a lot of people wandering around downtown Edmonton and the legislature grounds during that period. So I think that's the best time for us to really come out and let people know what is actively transpiring that day.
Right, and I agree. There's a huge thrust there. We're going to be doing our podcast live on Facebook from the legislature, and we want to meet everybody. As much as this is a quote unquote teach-in, a day where, yes, the middle class is going to be out in droves, trying to hang on to the very little they have, really, doing their very best to deny the reality of life. I know that, but, I also want to give them something to think about. However,
they'll have plenty to think about, because we'll be putting cards in hands.
All day.
Yep.
All day. And we would love people to come down and hand out those cards, to anyone interested. It's not Las Vegas with like stripper cards, you know what I mean? Where that's all you find all over the street are these, cards to get a free drink. That's not this. We want to hand these out to people that are genuinely interested. So it's not some awkward kind of, hey, do you want a card? No. It's people that come up and go, what the hell are you doing? What is this? And you go, well, this is what it is. And they go, well, where can I get information? Boom, right there. Immediately, right in their hands. Because the middle class can help in this fight and should be helping in this fight because it affects them directly and they don't even know it. That's part of the problem, is they don't even know how this is going to affect their taxes and their lives. And we've already covered it. We've covered that several times in our podcast. And so this is a direct effect to them. And in history, really, no revolution has ever succeeded without the middle class. Because the middle class constitutes the majority. So to get the middle class going, I'm getting screwed how many ways? And out of how much money? And they're doing this to you? And they're doing that to me? Well, now we have to fight.
Yeah.
And that's how you get everyone coming together as a working class of individual. Middle class be damned, poor class be damned. It's the working class and those who cannot. Right? It's not, I mean, the gay and lesbian, I guess they have their fight somewhere else. Although really they won the fight and I couldn't be happier for them. They won their rights. They won their rights. But everyone, gay, straight, lesbian, you know, anybody identifying as a cat, anybody else has to work or has to provide an income somehow. This is where we are all the same. Our humanity and the fact that we need to work to eat brings us all together, all at once. And then it doesn't matter anymore because your humanity is fully intact, right?
Yeah.
You're not defined by what you wear, right? Or what's between your legs. You're defined by the fact that you're a human being, full stop. That's it, right? And that's beautiful. That's a beautiful thing because we are all that. We are all human. So I'm going to play one more thing that I think is important. I played it before, but this is our memoriam to Bruce Johnson, the individual last week that died as a result of his own effort, and our heart goes out to him and his family and anybody that knew him. I didn't know him, but I came to tears last night creating this thing in memoriam for him. So I'm going to play that right now, and I hope you enjoy it, and I hope it hits you as much as it hit me.
Send in the clouds, don't bother their heat.
And there it is. Were you able to hear the audio of that?
Yeah.
Yeah. It hit me so hard last night. Really did. I actually spoke to the image that I was seeing of him, and I was saying, we're here, man. We're still here, and now we're fighting for you. We're gonna fight for you. That's our work. That's our job. That's our responsibility to fight for you. And I never knew the man. I never met the man. But if you look at the face behind the beard, it literally one of the most benevolent faces I think I've ever seen. Cheery, bright, expressive, right? Beautiful in its own way. And I couldn't believe that a government and a policy extricated the life out of this man.
Yeah, that's true. He's definitely brought a lot of visibility to what we're fighting right now, and that is huge. So his sacrifice does not go without merit.
No. And once again, we don't know where revolution comes from. It could be off of this incident, off some obscure soul that had just had enough.
Yeah.
We don't know where revolution comes from. And I felt like with the visibility of this and with the way people feel about this is the beginning of revolution. This is what it feels like to participate in revolution, when people finally say, you will not kill us. And a man we never knew means more than the evil we do know.
Yep.
So, yeah. Tomorrow, anything? Do we have anything on the...
I don't think so, but we're going to probably talk about that after the podcast to see where we can branch out from here.
Sure. That's fine. Ladies and gentlemen, you have been a blessing in here today. Once again, Colin, great to see you. Ivy, we love you to the moon and back. Pam, you're probably not here now, but you know how we feel about you. Always and forever. Maya, you know, you're a blessing. Love having conversations with you. And she was the one that came in, isn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah. What a beautiful spirit. What a great woman. So we will leave you with that, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you for showing up today and for giving us your valuable time. I hope that we can all work together. I hope that we see you July 1st. I hope that you hand out a card on your own behalf. I hope you speak to anyone and that we are able to give you a hug and put a face to the name. So until tomorrow, be well, be safe, and most of all, courage!